Hello and a warm welcome back to the When Dirtcast, your go-to weekly podcast for all things concerning the Metaverse Football League. As always, we're going to be your hosts today, me, Jimbo, and my good friend, Calvinator. We'll be discussing MFL updates, transfers, developments, and so much more that has gone on in the last week or so. One important note before we get started, obviously none of what we chat about on here is financial advice. Do your own scouting or hire a director of Metaverse Football. There's been a lot that has gone on this week, in particular for my little co-host here. Calva, how are you? First of all, are you well?
Well, I was about to say, speaking about hiring a director of Metaverse Football, I think, I don't know, I think Dane said on Twitter, like he mentioned, it's like you guys have been talking so much about it, hire a director of Metaverse Football, like, you know, you made it, you became one.
You've finally done it.
So I finally, yeah. So this whole episode, I guess, well, the main part, we're going to talk about that, like how my first week, or less than a week, 5 days, have been as this director or manager also, of this diamond team of the Magos de Madrid. That's the new name, new identity. I'll also talk about that identity. So it's been a really crazy week. I think the craziest week in my MFL career.
Too right.
In multiple ways.
Yeah.
But good, but really fun also. So
definitely, mate. Before we kick off into this, I just want to say massive congrats to you, really. Couldn't have wished for anyone better, really, to be managing that diamond side. Not biased at all, because you're one of my really good mates in MFL, and we do this podcast together. But I think your experience and knowledge will shine through, and it seems like it already has done a bit with some of the transfers and the squad you're putting together and everything like that with the club. But obviously, we will talk about that in part 2. Where like you said earlier, like you said off air, Calva, you'll almost be the guest for this one, and I'm gonna ask you a little bit how that diamond story has been for you this last week.
A little bit, yeah. You can be more interviewing me about how it was and how I kind of created this team, this group of players. So that will be really fun. So way more about it later. Although I think, especially with the sales of this week, there will already be some connections there, because I did play a role in a couple of them in some ways. So yeah, way more about it later and throughout this episode. Maybe a couple of words about stream. I think we had a quite big quiz. A lot of people tuning in.
Yes,
so really good.
Stream on Wednesday was great. I think the pack drop from MFL side went really well. I think one of the quickest sort of complete sellouts we've had in a long time, which was great to see. A huge turnout, a great quiz from yourself. We had an ice club to give away, which went to Bastis for winning the quiz, so congrats to him. And he ended up getting Lisbon, Portugal, which I think he's already branded, established, got some players signed up. I know that I've got a player in that squad, my Portuguese centre-back, Lisboa. I think it's a very ironic name for someone, app name. Yep, exactly. And we had 15,000 MFL to give away. So for those of you who did win things, that should all be distributed to you now. And just after we record this, we're going to be revealing the winner of our Twitter kickoff pack giveaway. So thank you to all of you who took part in that. And hopefully in a few hours' time, once we record this, you will find out if you are the winner or not. But I think the stream, just before we move on off the stream, massive thank you to all of you who subscribed using Prime or any other way to the Twitch channel. It is amazing, and to see that support is great, and it really helps us out. So a huge thank you on behalf of Calva and I for those who tune in but also subscribe as well. It's great.
Yes, it was really amazing. Nice buzz. I think in general, like this whole week has been one big season 1 buzz on both the stream and the sales bot, the new users, and Discord was exploding. Yeah. So it's for everyone, MFL has been a great week. So let's talk about that. So about our moment of the week. So of course, for me, there's one clear one we're going to talk about. It's just becoming this the manager of the Diamond team. But yeah, more about it later. So I'll pick another one. And I guess for me, I wrote down like the totally rebuilding the 9 teams I already had. So the diamond is like 10th. That's like a perfect number now. 10 teams, but I totally had to, like, all the contracts were cancelled. And before, you always had those auto-renew, and it was kind of a big hassle to rebuild those teams. But now with the full reset and everyone was like released from the clubs, it gave me like the opportunity to also rebuild everything and to really see who should play where, play progression wise, kind of keep it at the same average. So that was quite interesting, fun to do. Although I did give up to clubs with the country chemistry. Like that was just too much. I thought I'll get rid. It doesn't matter yet, right? So there's no nationality chemistry, no chemistry whatsoever. I'll just get rid of it, and I try to prioritize play progression plus the odds of promotion or like doing well. So I think now I have 9 pretty balanced teams that should be all competitive and not relegate in their respective leagues. So
nice.
I solved that puzzle, although I also got spammed by so many other people. Like,
I bet.
I think all agents know this. Like, when it opens, everyone starts making offers. Although it's clearly obvious you're gonna use those players yourself, people just still make offers.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get this done, and then the offers also stop for the big players.
Yeah.
So I think that was my moment to get that done and be ready with my teams for season 1.
Yeah, very well. Mine's nowhere near as grand as your moment of the week. I guess the biggest one being that diamond appointment. Mine's not as grand as that. I only have 2 clubs, so even rebuilding mine is not as grand as you rebuilding your 9 clubs. But the Wyverns and the Espartails are near enough there. The Wyverns need 1 centre back, and the Espartails need a centre back and a striker. But I'm of the impression that if I can't loan any in, I'll just probably grab one or two from the market, considering they're going to be sort of, in the region of 67 to 64 rated players, depending on if it's for the Stone Club or the Iron Club. But I also did make a bit of an error with the minimum matches played. I'm probably going to get laughed at for this. It's so funny. It's so funny. So I did a classic thing that I give a little beef for with people, or a little banter about not reading things properly. And I have fallen victim to my own advice of reading things where, it says if the player does not hit this many games, an additional percentage added. I thought it just increases to that percentage. So I thought if you offer 4 and you would then put a 4% minimum, and then you'd put like 6% in on the additional one. So it rises from 4 to 6. No, I didn't realize that means it's 4 plus 6, which equals 10. So I've offered, fortunately, I'll be able to match the minimum games, but I've offered a contract of like 4%. I thought in my head, rise to 7%. No, I've just offered 11% basically. But I think it's only on 15 games, so I should be all right. So that's my moment of the rebuilding, and also the blunder of the week, which is not reading the word additional, not increase to. I've had an absolute stinker.
Yeah, luckily you're in control of this, exactly. Like if you just play this guy, then it's okay. But it can be, it's like a huge, like the higher the percentage, the more the incentive increases to play this guy, right, for a manager.
I put the aggressive additional percentage for the 15 minimum games played because I didn't want to put 20 to put a lot of pressure on myself. I wanted to put 15 with a high percentage to show that he'll probably go towards closer to 20 than he will closer to 15, if that makes sense. To tell the agent, he's definitely going to hit 15, he's probably going to get at least 20, but I don't want to put 20 just in case I can't do that. So I gave him a high percentage. So that was a little strap.
No, I think it makes sense. And for a lot of managers who are worried, if they see this, like, even if you put 10, right?
Yeah.
They see that, like,
the eyes light up.
Okay, yeah, even if he doesn't get the matches, if his progression is getting hurt, at least I get, like, a loads of revenue share.
Yeah.
So it can be a nice incentive to get players. And although it adds up, right, in your rev share of your team, of your club, so you can't do it with too many players because then you go over your 100%. So you cannot do it too much. But yeah, I think it's really a great addition of clauses. Also with the diamond I've been using and that.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so Great. Let's do dev updates. So of course, season 1 is here. The launch and the code needed for for everything season 1 has been successfully deployed ahead of the transfer window. So that's great. And they also finalized the development center UI. Did you already put guys in there, by the way?
I've put 17-year-old 58 rated goalkeeper for 4 seasons for like 800 MFL. I was like, okay, I'm literally putting in for like $1.50 equivalent in theory. I thought, well, if he only goes up by say 3 or 4, he gets put into my Stone Club in 4 seasons time. He'll be there. I'll use him. I still want to use him right now.
Yeah, so. I only put like really low ones, like below 53, 54. That I know, like, no, they're probably not gonna get signed. And then for the other ones, I use the free development center, which is just ice clubs for like 1%.
Yeah,
just go. That's like free dev gel for me.
Yeah, free dev gel.
That's
people still using that hashtag as well, which is
great, that's great. I saw it, like the dev.
Chat about it, and then go, chuck a couple guys in hashtag dev gel.
In the dev gel, straight to dev gel. Promotion relegation, yeah. So the big discussion was about that in general before. So now the white paper has been updated, so it should be really clear how the team, like what is happening with promotion, relegation, inactive teams, late registration, this auto relegation, those kind of things. So do read the white paper. Pack drop happened, went smoothly, nothing special there. Enhanced monitoring, it means that the team wants to be kind of extra careful with this regarding progression and matches, and they again added some extra safeguards, so that should be going well. Player progression, again, a lot of testing going on there to really make sure that these players progress smooth, training goes well, that all of this is handled. And they fixed some bugs related to it. And finally, big thing is an engine update. So the team rolled out a new version of the engine earlier this week. So this is version 6/5.2, which should rebalance the whole engine better and improve the realism and some bug fixes. Did you notice some engine change?
I've done a couple friendlies on my phone where I've sort of like watched it. I've watched them more than like testing, if that makes sense. I'm hoping that tomorrow or today, being Monday, that I will be doing more testing when I have more time. But I've not done actual testing, more just watching some games, seeing how the squad does. I've not really seen any.
But did you see some realism, like some bit improved realism, or that still you saw some?
I'm still yet to sort of like analyze the games. Okay. Whereas I usually if I'm on my phone, I'll just start the game and then go do something, come back and see what the result was, and then do that for like 10 times, change something. But when I'm at my computer, I'll then actually like analyze the games and watch them a bit more detail. So I've not really had a chance of testing as yet. You?
Yeah, I did see, like when we were commentating on those the community clash, we were complaining that there was always like a player on like the left flank and the right flank, and then we went out for a corner like almost all the times. I did see more crosses now and some more goals from crosses. So that it not always goes out for a corner, and some like new goals, like kind of a pretty, how do you call those kind of crosses? Not like floating, but more like fast.
Oh, what, like drilled in?
Yeah, and then
like
kind
drilled
of
in crosses,
and then tap ins, or like seems like some kind of header, and like just a bit more variation in that. So I feel like there is a bit more realism.
Are the corners still going to the back post? I've not really watched much, so I don't know.
I didn't pay attention to that. I did see a couple go in, so. But yeah, that's great, and I also do need to do more testing, especially with the Diamond team, of course, to get that ready. So season update, there's nothing happening. No competitive metaverse football in the whole past week. The leagues will start this Wednesday, so when you listen to this. Like tomorrow maybe, or depends when you listen, of course, but very soon.
I've got one thing to just add on to that. One thing about
this,
One thing to add on to, obviously it's kind of irrelevant because the time you listen to this, registration will have closed but there's 3 hours till registration closes at the time of us recording this, and to register for season 1. So hopefully you haven't missed out after listening to this. But there are 1,494 clubs currently registered for season 1, which is the biggest so far, expectedly, because we've had this, all these new users come in, but I think some people did expect it to be this high, but I think that number is great. If we can push for over 1,500, I think that will be amazing, because that might be a beat of season 0.8 or the breakaway league by at least 250, at least 300 more clubs being registered, which would be huge increase.
It's a new milestone, definitely.
Yeah.
Like the 1.5k clubs. No, really, really big. By the way, did you see that red banner? I don't think you had it, right?
No, if you had it registered, was it?
Yeah, so because I had the Diamond Club and I didn't have enough players because I need to sign all those guys. And then you really had this red banner the whole time I went to the app, like the whole time. You have one club that is unregistered. So I think that really happened for anyone logging in and you have a club that's not registered. You have this constant reminder, like, you need to register this club or at least be aware. So that's very good that when you have this auto-relegation, right, that you can really lose value on your license or your club. I mean, everyone's been warned, emails, messages, the banner. I think everyone should know that this was going to happen and that your club might get auto-relegated. Okay. Speaking about Season 1 craziness and registrations, etc., there were a lot of new managers. There was also a lot happening in the sales bot, so I didn't go through all of it. So I found 25. Yeah, it was really... So for people, I really go through the whole sales bot of the week and then see who's new and interesting stories. So unfortunately not the whole week, but I went until like Tuesday, so I missed 2 days. And I found 25 new managers, or 26 actually.
There we go.
So that's really good numbers. And some of them also were like really buying a lot of guys, spending a lot of money, getting clubs, getting even rares. So also some really good quality additions. So let's do a shout out. Mace, 19 Andy 09, Pizza Time, Nabuff, Mikey, Josius, Zelinski, French Mystic, Willem Caster, Jesse Morgo, The Red Sofa 6, TMO50, Royal Levy, Greco ISU, Phil Santos, Maurix Crow, Atbi Mich, Decaf Ruby 6, Booz Lee, my favorite name, Cheddar Z, David, Nieto, Morts, Carmi, NP, and yeah, there's more probably. and then the new user of the week is Baz Barrett. For 2 reasons. 1, he bought a ton of guys, also some rares already as new user. And the second reason is that he is from Norwich.
He's from Norwich.
Do you know him?
No, but I'm going to try my best to figure out who this person is. And I mean, my assumption might be that they're from Norwich, they're a Norwich fan, and they're a Norwich season ticket holder. There's a couple of us who play MFL from Norwich, so I'm gonna have to connect this person, offer them any support and advice they need.
Yeah, and I put there in brackets in our episode planning, meetup. So you almost have enough guys for like a Norwich meetup even, right?
Yeah,
like
we do.
We're growing, and then I think definitely in England he would have like loads of guys.
I'm gonna have to do my research now and maybe get if Baz Barrett, you're listening, at Jimbola27, follow me on Twitter. Let's connect. Get a Norwich meetup. Of all MFL managers.
MFL Norwich meetup.
There we go. Who would have thought the little plucky fine city of Norwich having such representation in a Web3 game like
already
this.
two. But that's great, right? We're growing, and now I think in Marseille they could already do an amazing big meetup in Paris, definitely. But also, I think in England I saw like already from the new users like to Brighton, for example. Maybe they are related, but
yeah, we're gaining traction.
Yeah,
in the great island of Britannia.
Yes. Then some market moves, some stories. So I keep seeing Jack Daniels in the sales bot. He keeps buying bulk.
Ooh, bit of Jack
loads,
Daniels.
loads of players. But I also thought we nice to talk about Will Dasnik. Do you know him?
I know the name now over the last couple of hours.
Because of Baller shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was in general, but also he's been buying, although you don't see the wallet. He didn't connect the wallet to Discord, or you don't see his name. But you see his club is there, Will the Sneak Empire. And he's really been buying crazy, and loads of young players for pretty high prices, like 16-year-old players for like 27 USD. And he's really going down this progression route.
Yeah.
So curious to see, but fun that, I think he's a big ballers guy. Fun that he's also back playing MFL and also putting quite some money in his team to get it competitive and have a lot of young talents and maybe develop them, promote, etc.
Yeah,
so great that he is here. Then rare players, another name you don't see a lot in the chat, but who also behind the scenes is building quite an agency. MFL Wonder Kids from Sao Paulo, Brazil, so Brazilian user.
Yeah.
Or he lives in Brazil, and he bought 9 rares this week. So it's like some name you don't hear a lot about.
Also bought some young uncommons.
Uncommons, yeah, also uncommons, yeah.
Quite high prices, I thought, as well. Or, rather, I think even I was scrolling up and just seeing like 2 people had reacted to the sales bot with like a laughing emoji or something, just because I think he paid a bit.
I saw that with multiple transaction indeed. So people think that's maybe overvalued, or people, I think it's like, how much do you believe in progression?
That is ultimately it,
odds? Yeah. Do you really believe age is so valuable, like young players are so valuable? But yeah, like Wonder Kids, he is one, and Will the Sneak, that's another, like some more newer users would really believe in that. But yeah, 9 rares and all those other uncommons, so really getting ready for season 1, a lot of people. Now we come to the interesting, juicy category, which is legendary players. So, well, I was personally responsible for 2 big sales because I have my 2.5k budget. And two big ones went through. So I bought Saravia center back from Peru, from Dane, for 825 USD. And Hamadi Ba with 97 shooting from Dio for 650. And then Dio went to kind of spend that money plus some extra money on Francis Hobbs, 90 rated player, for 900 USD. So legendary market is moving. And of course we have the massive splash, but you'll talk about that.
I will catch that.
And finally about club. So we've seen the club market, the floors keep dropping. There's really kind of a fear of a lot of managers, I think, that they cannot keep this club, like they cannot, I would say, save it from relegation.
Yeah.
And they try to sell it and kind of start on lower level. But then you always have people who buy it and try their luck. So Luke, for example, he bought Bronze Tijuana for 85 USD from Palmer.
That's a really nice price.
So that's a really nice price for a bronze team. I checked his agency. He has 1 high rare, 80 rated, and a lot of high uncommons, kind of between 70 to 73. So with a couple of signings, I definitely think he could make it work. And he has 2 other stone teams. So for his progression, it will definitely be very useful to go into bronze. And I also think he can save this team from relegation. But it's nice that some people try to sell them and others take a gamble and go for it. So that's what's happening in the club market. And now over to you.
Over to me.
A very big one, I think.
Very big one. Splash of the week. So, pronunciation might be butchered here. We've got another one. So, a name we've not seen, I don't think, on Splash of the Week ever, or for a very, very long time, goes by the name of Basil P, or Basil. A big player within the So Rare community, having an automated trade bot. And we know he's got quite a few legendary players, had a legendary team. And he thought, you know what? Season 1's around the corner. I need to make myself a new purchase. But not any old purchase, a 16-year-old purchase. A South Korean left-back by the name of Seung-bin Roo, 88 overall, for a whopping $1,475 US. Like I said, he's age 16, position left-back, centre-back, 88 overall, 85 pace, 27 shooting, we don't care about that, 85 passing, 83 dribbling, 91 defence, and 88 physical. Purchasing him from Noe Sark. Basil P. Seems like he's coming, maybe he's coming for some of those diamond positions in the league this year. Big splash from him. Big splash. Love to see it.
Yes. So I can already do my first story to of the first Diamond Insight Diamond Diary entry. So I was interested in this guy because Noe Sark, he didn't sign him yet to any team. I think it was Friday. So he didn't sign him to any team. So I was writing, I'm like, what are your plans with him? And he's like, oh yeah, probably he go to Plat. And I'm like, what is this guy gonna do in Plat? He's too good, and I will make him a starter, and I give you a nice ref share, so he will get max progression. And then he's like, no, that's not how it works. No, in Plat he will get more. It will be better. He could make more ref share in the top, and progression is also better. And then I was like, a whole conversation trying to convince him. Then I think at the end I was like, okay, fair enough. I made this offer 5% plus free for him, and to see what you do. I think he belongs in Diamond.
Yeah.
So then I woke up Saturday morning, and he made up his mind. He went to Diamond, but he accepted Gaffer's offer, which was exactly the same. I was like, I did this whole conversation with you, and you got convinced, but then you accepted Gaffer's offer. But then I think, but then now Gaffer signed this guy, so I think Gaffer was unhappy. But then Basil came in and bought this dude from Noe Sark, and I think he was made kind of forced to kind of release him so he can play for Basil's team. So now he's signed to Basil's team.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So then also Gaffer doesn't have him. So it's really tough competition for Diamond for these kind of players, for the left backs, the right backs also. So yeah, that's a good story, I think, about how tough it is in there. And also, I beat Bessel 3 times now in a friendly, so I think maybe that also made him a kind of squeaky.
A bit nervous.
Get
a bit shaky, get a bit nervous.
Yes.
But before we go on to our IRL MFL piece, I just want to bring up a stat here quickly that I've on my little marketplace dashboard I've got. And we know, Calva, you spoken a couple of minutes ago about all the new managers and all the new transactions. And on November the 7th, which was, let me just get my calendar up, November the 7th was Thursday, there were 318 transactions in the sales spot, which aside from the first day, that's the first day of the marketplace being opened, is the most amount of transactions in the marketplace in its history. So, if that doesn't tell you about the up trajectory and activity and all the new users, then what will?
And I think volume-wise, November might also become one of the... Well, we had some crazy months before, but I think it will also become, especially with those legendary purchases, maybe one of the good months, I think, in terms of volume. Yeah, so let's do IRL MFL, and then it's time for all my Diamond stories. So, do you have a moment, any PFL?
I've got no particularly sort of IRL moment. I want to focus on the FPL. First of all, we've actually reopened the league. We'll do it for the international break. Hoodwink messaged in the chat, added me and said, obviously a few new users coming that play FPL. Can they get involved? And I was, chatting with Bosco, and we've opened it up. So if you're not in the FPL league for MFL, come join in. We do weekly rewards and monthly rewards. But we'll close it back up, and then probably be closed for good. Obviously, then in theory, someone could come in with a really high total score, then just jump the leaderboard. But you get nice rewards for coming monthly and weekly anyway. It's actually, you probably get more for winning weekly if you won every week rather than you would for the end of the season. But you've got that. And then also there's the big debate about Haaland at the moment, because Haaland's been one of the most transferred out players because he's not hauling the figures, the goals that he usually does. And, you know, that's a viable strat now. I think he was the most transferred out player of this game week. Only got 1 goal against Brighton, who obviously they got beaten by. And Chelsea have just drawn to Arsenal. Odegaard back for Arsenal, which is nice. But then you've got Liverpool, who just seem to be plodding along. So if you're new to FPL, or not new to FPL, sorry. If you're not in the MFL FPL League, there's an FPL Discord channel. Go in there, the pinned tweet, or just ask myself or the Bosco Company for the link, and you can join in, get involved. You might as well. It's a free game, but you can earn some rewards and maybe bolster your agency, or use it as like MFL for the development centre. #DevGel. Get involved. Your IRL MFL, Calva. You're going to bring some IRL to this.
Yes, I always like to connect it a bit to some aspects of the game. So now I thought it would be fun to talk about Tijani Reinders, who plays for AC Milan. And in this week he played amazing against Real Madrid. Milan won 3-1 in Santiago Bernabeu, so away. And he scored, I think, 1 goal, played pretty well. Over the weekend he played pretty well. But I think he's a good example of late prime age, but with a big potential. So for most of his career, he was just playing in the Dutch league and not really one of the better players. Then eventually he ended up at AZ Alkmaar, and then slowly he started to develop into this player who was always starting, and then this key player, and then kind of their star. And then he earned his transfer to Milan. Everyone thought, like, is he going to make it there? And then also after half a year, he's now one of the key players there too.
Yeah.
26. Like, usually players from the Dutch league who are good, they leave at like 20, 21, 22, and then they go to England or Germany or Italy. And he went there age 25. And now he's 26. So I think a good example of late prime age. And we could also find other examples of like very early prime age, I think, of players who were... Freddie Adu, I think, is maybe his prime age was like 16 even. the big American talent who then just, I don't know, he didn't make it.
I think, so many stars burst out on the scene at younger ages now that you feel like we'll go by the MFL way, prime age is younger. But with my head, anyway, I've always thought the prime average player in general is between 27 to 28. That's when a lot of players hit their best years, in my opinion. But we are seeing so many younger players like your Mbappe's, your Vinny, your Mal. You know, I think they're outliers. But but it's great to see so many players. Some players even hit their prime when they're like 30, 31, especially defenders. Centre backs, you see an old prime
goalies
age.
Also,
yeah, their prime age could be like 35. You know, sometimes how goalkeepers are like. But I've got a quick stat for you, a quick little fact.
Tell me.
Ajax before today, after drawing 2-2 with FC Twente, they'd won 7 games in a row. But do you know which person showed up to their match today and caused them not to win? He's a record breaker, recently been fired from his job. Erik ten Hag turns up to watch Ajax, and their 7-game unbeaten streak is put to end when he comes and watches.
He is from that area of the country.
He's a record breaker for good and for bad.
He lives very close to Twente. He is from Twente, actually.
Oh, okay.
That area
I saw
the
tweet
country.
and I thought, that's funny.
But it's funny. Yeah, he is like the curse. Well, Van Nistelrooy won comfortably against Leicester.
Yeah.
So maybe it was Ten Hag. Maybe.
Yeah.
But look. Well, speaking about Dutch managers.
Yes, Calva.
And trying to do well.
Let's talk about you, Calva, and your recent appointment and your very busy and eventful, exciting, probably stressful week it has been. We're going to call this segment, this part 2, the Diamond Diary. I'm going to let Calva talk about how that week has been so far, what it's entailed from the appointment to the day-by-day business of a manager, director of football of that final Diamond Club. And the best place to start is at the beginning. So, Calva, you told me last week that a couple of weeks ago you'd applied for it. You said don't tell anyone, but I've applied for it, and I thought, oh, good man, he's someone on the pod's applied for it.
Yeah.
When did you hear about you were being appointed? Before you'd been appointed, did you already have in your mind what identity, the name, anything of the club, or was how did that all come about? Take us right to the beginning of this week for you and how that all started.
Yeah, or maybe you should also why I applied, because first,
of course,
I think we also had a conversation, and you were like yeah, I'm so busy, I would like to do it, but I
personally just have the time. I wouldn't be able to give it my all, and I didn't. I wouldn't deserve it in that sense.
I also thought I could. It will be very busy. It will be a lot of extra things to do, but it will also be really fun. So I was down in I think it would be amazing. But then people started tagging both you and me, right? In general, if they were a couple of people will be suitable, will be Jimbo Calvinator, and then maybe third name or fourth name in there, and if I am, how do you say that? One of my weaknesses is I think if people think oh, you be good, then I feel okay, I need to step up, and if people believe in me, I need to. And also, I like to take responsibility. I know we've been talking on the pod about kind of getting this diamond buzz a bit more going, right? Getting a bit more one diamond club of a Twitter account. I think I could do that. Yeah. I have a lot of connections. I've been talking on Discord, a lot of DMs with everyone. Also because of the pod, right? We've been talking to Sturge and to Dio and all these people I've really had a chat with here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I knew I could pull it off, and I would be one of the better candidates to get a squad together, and then also running a Twitter account of the club, plus talking about it on the pod for content, and maybe some YouTube videos for content.
Yeah.
So I could pull it off. I would, and I want also to have someone there who could do it. Really, I'm a bit but I felt based on what I did, I could do it. So I felt I have to apply. And if they pick me, I can do it, and I will do a good job, my best, give it my best.
Yeah.
And I can make the time for it. And I'll just focus a bit more compared to other MFL things, just full on the Diamond team. So that was the decision to apply.
Did it feel like you were applying for a job as if it was a real life job, not a metaverse job? Did it feel like that?
A little bit, what's your motivation? Why do you believe you are the man for the job? Right? There's kind of job interview questions why should we hire you? What? Although they didn't ask what are your 3 main weaknesses or those kind of questions. They didn't ask that. It was, or if you would be an animal, which animal would you be? Not those kind of things.
What would you be? Let's ask that question now. I won't ask the weakness one. We're in the interview, and I go, Calva, what animal would you most closely associate with?
Yeah, I don't know. Killer whale, I always say.
A killer whale, man. Yeah. Killer whale. Or maybe that's PTSD from the MFL Orcas Alliance. Yeah, the Orcas doing us one in the community clash.
Maybe. But anyway. So, so on Tuesday, when season 1 started, right? On Tuesday, it started.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so kind of around the same moment, I got a DM on Twitter from the MFL account and from Matt, also personally, to tell me you've been the man, and also you're going to work with Quinny as this assistant role and more the content and some YouTube videos. So you've been picked, but it was keep it quiet because we want to do proper announcements. So there was a big thing. So, but then I was a bit in this moment in between. It was at one hand I am now this manager, but on the other hand I'm not. right? It's like, because I cannot tell people and I cannot start working on it, but I know I'm going to be it. And also I already got this club on MFL. Sturge figured this out, by the way. Like, he already congratulated me before the announcement.
Yeah.
Then I also couldn't react to him because I had to keep quiet. So I had to ghost Sturge a little bit there. I was like, but yeah, and this dragged on for me a little bit too long. I mean, I know the team had to properly prepare this and we had to come up with an identity, but it also, there was like, I couldn't start right away, you know, with like starting to get players in, because we had to wait before this announcement. But then also the first thing to do was come up with this identity and name. That was also priority, to have a good identity, colors. And I had like an initial plan, and then I talked to Matt a little bit. So I wanted to do first based on this neighborhood in Madrid called Lavapiés, which is known for kind of, on the one hand, it's a bit struggling, but also a lot of street art and a lot of artists, and I need to be creative as his manager, and that's where like a lot of creative people live. So I thought, let's call it like Deportivo Lavapiés. But Matt also like to be also fun to have like this Madrid prominent, because it's the Madrid license.
Yeah.
So then I thought creativity, what can also be a bit more creative, and then the magic. I was like, I need also magic. I need creativity, but also magic. So then the Magos de Madrid idea was born. Purple is the color kind of associated with magic and wizards.
It's a very nice color.
Yeah, so at Magos Madrid, and Lucas helped me with some AI tool to make the logo, and then that identity was born. Then that announcement was ready, and then finally on Thursday, I think noon for me, it was announced.
Yeah,
and then,
about lunchtime, midday, yeah.
Yeah, and then the craziness could really start.
Yeah, because I knew that you'd applied for it, and you told me to keep quiet that you'd applied for it, which I respectfully did.
Yes.
And I had my suspicions that it would be you. I just know you, and I know your background, your experience. I know a bit about you, maybe more than other people do, because we have these weekly conversations now together, for a year.
Yeah.
And my little sources, the media always leaks out some information, or the insiders leak out some information, and I knew it was coming. So it was great to finally to have the announcement, I guess, weight off your shoulders. But as you just said, that was when the hard work really starts, and you've got to get into it, because you've been appointed on Thursday, so you can start building your squad. But you've actually really, until leagues kick off, you only had less than a week to try and get that sorted out. So take us to where those first negotiations, the everything, the getting in the players, how was this step up to being a diamond manager and bringing in and creating your squad?
Yes, yeah, it was. Well, first it was pretty like, yeah, like it's like a blank canvas, right? And you have like this money, and you have your ref share, and those are like the two things you can use, and then just let's go. But luckily, some people already were proactive and gave me a little head start. So, for example, Obi-Wan, I think, was the first one, Obi-Wan Nowitzki, and he reached out and was like, I have a couple of legendaries, and I could loan them out to you, and it would be great if you could use them and start them. So he reached out, and because of him, like, then we just agreed on a ref share, and I got already 3 guys from him. Ruiz, very good left back, 92. So that was already an amazing.
Very good left back. Don't discredit that. 92 is a very high rated player at MFL.
Yeah, already, or 91. Sorry, I think 91, 92, but already a massive. Like one of the best left backs in games, so that he reached out was already a bit of luck from there. Also Dominik Mierzejewski, who played for my Poland team, so nice to welcome him back. I was going to say,
I recognise that name. You've already that pre-manager connection. Hopefully not an Anthony and Ten Hag moment with Man United. Hopefully a more successful rekindling. Hopefully a more successful rekindling of management and player there.
Yes. Yeah, and Baquero, which is a goalie. So I already got 3 guys from just Obi-Wan reaching out. Then Ron John, he also reached out to me that he had this legendary striker from Albania, also from the Euro packs, Tafani, 87 rated, that he would also gladly loan him out if he can get enough games, and I said like he can definitely get enough games. I'll make sure he gets that. And also, Duff and Darkseid, they both reached out. So Duff, through Duff, I got Paulus and Kobe. Although Kobe, I'll tell you later, he already got sent back because I got some other guys in. But Duff was reached out to congrats and can I help? And then from there on, I had loads of conversations from already people sending me congrats and then saying I have some guys. So that really helped me a lot to already get like a couple of guys in. Mm-hmm. But also Darkseid at Saravia, center back, same situation. So from those 4 agents, that's already like a decent group. Then the other, on Thursday already was also maybe check scouting. And I saw another cam there, Jack Howe, who's, by the way, 16 years old. And he's like 166. So it's like really, and from England, by the way. So really tiny English.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Did you use him? Like, oh no, was he already there? Or did you use him in your English?
I don't recognize that name. How? What's his overall?
87, Jack Howe. Or maybe he got packed. I also seen him before.
Yeah, I may have not used. I may have taken him, but not used him. Put it that way.
Yeah, probably as like because there was no fatigue, so just as a substitute, probably. Yeah, so I got him from scouting 5%, and then from my own agency, Matthews, centre back. So from, let's say, on day 1, I already got like a decent foundation of those 9 guys in total. So that was and already a bit of weight off my shoulder, right? Like I already have like this. First, I was really like, can I really, with how competitive Diamond is with 11 teams, and also Plat and Plat there's amazing teams with all legendaries. Like, can I really pull this off? Is there gonna be enough left? Also, because I started 2 days later, I was like stressing out a little bit, like waiting, before you can really start and shout out to the whole world, like, give me your legendaries. So that was a good day that I had those 9 guys, and I also started messaging like Dio and Scrub and Sturge, like the other big names already, like what can we do for each other? Let's say, what is... So day 1 was pretty good, but I knew there's so many positions still unfilled. I still had my full budget I can use, and that was, and then find the other piece of the puzzle.
And for those who don't know this budget, it's a $2,500 budget that is provided by MFL, and they can buy the players on your behalf, but they're on a 0% contract. That was it, correct? Yeah,
so MFL buys them. They go to the MFL Diamond wallet, which is dedicated for this Diamond team.
Yeah.
And then indeed you just get them for 0% as if like the club really owns those guys now, right? You really bought them, so 0% contracts. Yeah, so I have like a whole Excel sheet, and I was like puzzling, like, what is the best combo of those players? What can I do? So now we move on, and I was already talking to Lucas. So I was like talking to Lucas, like, okay, maybe I want this guy, maybe I want this guy. Before I sent him a list, he didn't buy them yet, so he could still change it. Otherwise, he would have bought those guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was also good that maybe he didn't pull the trigger yet immediately. But there was one obvious one. So now we move into Friday, and where I got 3 guys, and 2 were bought by MFL on that Friday. So one obvious one was this Ba. The striker Hamadi Ba, 87 rated with 97 shooting. So he is an older guy, but it's interesting. For me, age doesn't matter. Because
I guess there's no
I don't own a guy. I don't care about progression. I just care about quality, and not like if he's 87 or is he 27 or 20 or 87, I would care. But if he's how old he is. So that was like the perfect buy for me. For other Diamond managers, that would be probably not good because he's so old. But for me, that was a no-brainer. So get that striker in, 97 shooting.
Very
that would
nice
mean
shooting.
A lot of goals probably.
Hopefully.
And then, judging by the market and looking at the transfer, like what is the best value for money. Then Dane's centre-back, Valdivia, 88 overall centre-back for 825. That was also a good option for me because I needed to get centre-back quality in there. So those are my 2 first purchases. And then now is another interesting story.
Were they your first? I know they weren't your purchases because of MFL, but were they your first ever legendary purchase at MFL as well? So how did that feel?
Yes,
purchasing a purple player, getting a purple player off the marketplace and going, I get to use him. But that felt quite nice.
Yeah, it felt really fun, like shopping in a market. I never shopped there for legendaries. And
someone gives you a card and says you've got 10 minutes to spend as much as you can, sort of thing, like a Mr. Beast challenge or something like that.
Yeah, and also using that filter in the marketplace, like filter on the legendaries who are newly listed, let's say, and then you see, new legendaries. But yeah, normally you never care about that. You're like, okay. So it is funny to be in that situation and have that money and power. But about this deal, so I was already talking to Dio and Dane. Like, I'm gonna buy you a guy, but maybe, I'm kind of giving you kind of that money, right? I take this guy off your hands. Can we also help each other with, like, I scratch your back, can you also scratch mine? Like, can we arrange something? And then we had like a nice deal going on because Dio was like, I have McGill, who was 91 goalie in plat, like, and he deserves to be in diamond. He's, I think, the 3rd best goalie in game, and he got golden glove and diamond last season. So he deserves to be in there, but I need the replacement. So if you can fix that for me, I can release him. And Dane had another goalie, and I was talking to him maybe about loaning him already, or maybe buying him with the budget also. So I was like, maybe instead of loaning him, you can loan him to Dio, and then I get McGill, like kind of some freeway deal. So I was like brokering this, and then Dio was okay with that plan with getting, and then Dane also was okay with that. So
success.
I got McGill, so I got like one of the best goalies in the game. That was a huge quality impulse. And then so those are the 3 guys I got on that Friday. I had then the 1,000 USD left to play with, so I was really thinking what to do with it. I had this whole Noe Sark and Rue episode, right?
Yeah.
That guy, the splash of the week that went to Gaffer and then to Basil. And Sturge, I also talked to Sturge and like, I also really want to help you out and get like a diamond squad and have some legendaries. And he had this super, like, one of the best players in game, 93 rated. Another left back who can also play as and left mid, Redia, 93 rated. So, but he said, I had to kind of deal with Gaffer. So I was like, oh no, not again to Gaffer. Like, you already got another guy. And he said maybe Marine, but then in his play was like an 85 rated right mid. But he said like, we can do something. I'm still talking to Gaffer, so we'll keep in touch. So there was already some line going on there. But I think the most interesting thing is with Scrub. So do you know Scrub's reputation as a negotiator?
I know he's a tough negotiator. He's a very tough negotiator. I think that's what I've had negotiations with him in the past, and when I've had legendary players, I know some people in the general chat could sometimes have a bit of chat about how tough he can be. Firm but fair, I think, is probably the way. And he leaves little wiggle room. And obviously, you've had some negotiation with Scrub, or attempted negotiation.
Yeah, pretty much over a span of like 3 days, I think. And the deal, I mean, we agreed on the deal, but MFL still has to finalize it and has to spend the money, actually. So maybe we can keep it for last, and I go over all the other players. Maybe we can do.
Yeah, go on, do that.
Let's keep that story for the last. But it already started on this day. So on the Friday. So let's say moving into Saturday. So first I woke up to that, like, Gaffer got this the Splash of the Week guy. Sturge was still, like, we were still talking. So he said this Marine went to a plat side, so that was gone. But he still had this amazing 93 rated Heredia. And he said, oh, maybe even Barry Turner could be yours.
Ooh.
Or Green.
Who the F is Barry Turner?
Matthew Green, and very good English centimeter right name. So, and then I was like, who do I want? Like, if I get Heredia, I would have this amazing left side, but then on the right mid, I had no one yet. So maybe Green. So I told him, like, I rather have Green than Turner. I need to be a bit more, I think, defensively better than having, like, a better striker. So Serge was like, yeah, we could probably make this work. Then he went to bed, like San Diego, right? So, to be continued. And also 408 Sauce was also in the same area. He also had a center back. So there was still like some dealings going on. But then Ronin showed up. So the big guy himself.
The big guy.
Mercenaries. And he had Kyria, I don't know how to pronounce it. Georgian Messi, I call him.
Yeah.
92 rated cam from Georgia. So he was still free, but then I was like what's going on with him? And I think this was on Friday. I said, like, yeah, I'm talking to Sellers and he's going to BFC Barcelona. So I was like, okay, fair enough. But then Saturday morning he said, oh, actually, Sellers changed his mind and he doesn't need cams anymore and he's going to pivot to some other formation.
Oh, okay.
So Kyria is back on the market. Bit of luck, yeah. But then he said, I want 10% plus 5 for him. I was like, ooh. 10% in rev share.
What, plus 5 for what is that? Is that 15
for like 15
games?
matches?
Yeah, 15 matches, yeah.
I mean, of course I'm going to play him, but like 10% it's like 1/10 of my whole rev share budget.
Good maths.
And I was going up quite a bit with some deals.
Yeah.
And there was another problem because I already got 2 cams. So then also Duff would need to cancel 1 contract for his cam. Plus I need to negotiate and get his rev share lower. And then get him, let Ronin agree on a good deal. And Duff had to cancel his other cam. So there was like, again, multiple people involved.
Yeah.
in this thing. But Duff is super nice. And Duff was like, yeah, I understand. If you can get Kyria, like, go for it. I'll find a place for this cam. Maybe even gold, but he will play somewhere.
Yeah.
So that was okay. And then with Ronin, I settled on 8.5. That was like, I need more quality. So we agreed 8.5.
Okay.
And then that was also settled. So Kyria 92 cam. So my
huge player to bring
impulse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another 90 plus rated. So that was really good to have him. And then when Sturge woke up, so San Diego was awake, he agreed on Heredia for 8% and Green for 5. So it was two huge ones again. So then my whole squad was almost pretty much set, but I still needed a right back and a right mid and a backup CDM. And that's where Scrub comes in.
Where Scrub comes in. So what does he have? What does he have? What did he have that?
Well, this is the thing. Scrub had so many unsigned legendaries. And then loads of good talent, and he all has them listed, right? So there's like...
yeah.
But and there's like so much potential. So first I was trying to see like, what can I do? And he had listed a CDM, let's call him Just, for 600. Then I would have like around 400 left. And I could buy another right back from him. So I said, okay, I buy this right back, I buy Just. And then I also want to loan 2 other guys from you. It's like very good guys. There's like Paiva and some other CB was like 80, 89. So I want to whole package deal. Like, I'm going to invest in you, but you have to release some guys from Biccione Milano and send them my way. So that was my plan, like part of the bargaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that was you being firm. You're like, I want these players, but they've got to come from. You got to do your bit.
I want like a really quality impulse, like some really good players from Biccione.
Yeah.
And then in return, I'll buy 2 of your listed guys, and you get like 1,000 USD. So seems like win-win, right?
You'd hope so.
Yeah, but then he kept like pushing back, and we were like a bit stuck. I was like, this seems like very fair. I get some guys, and then he's like, no, but what about a striker? I'm like, no, I don't need a striker. This is my deal. Like, I want a right back, right mid. And then in the end, I need like, so what do you want? You know, what do you want to get out of this deal?
Yeah.
Like, we kept going in circles, and he's like, yeah, I have those other clubs I need to complete, and I didn't realize this. He just had also other clubs apart from his diamond that he wanted to fill out. So then that kind of made me realize, okay, we need to reshape this deal.
Yeah.
Now we come to the little controversial part.
Ooh,
but I'm gonna do full transparency. I hope you guys like that. Full transparency.
Okay, that's what we like.
And also, this deal has not been finalized yet.
Okay.
So the one extra guy for 400 I was gonna buy was another right back, and he was like, "Yeah, right back is also my weakest spot. I cannot." And I wanted to also get another right back on loan, so I would take 2 right backs from him. I said, like, yeah, right back, I cannot fill that. So then we were like, how can we solve it? So we take out one right back, but then like I have this 400 left, and this 400 is just, it's a lot of money, but you can get a legendary from it.
Yeah, you don't get far that you wouldn't even be able to get one from the floor.
Yeah, like it's not gonna help me at all to just have 400 left for nothing, like for some like random backup rare I'm not gonna use. So then we agreed on this deal that I would buy the CDM from him for 1,000 USD, but I would get 0%, 2 0% players, a right back and a right mid backup. So I pay 400 more for this player. So he listed him for 600, but then for 1,000. But it benefits me because I get 2 players I need for 0%. So I'm not spending even more ref share, which I'm already spending quite a heavy bit on it. So yeah, it's the deal. Like MFL has not bought this player yet, but it might start looking weird in the sales bot when suddenly this guy who was listed for 600 first and goes for 1,000. But from my point of view, it makes sense. From his point of view, it makes sense. And I'm like juggling the 2 resources I have, ref share and money.
Yeah.
And it's so, yeah, although we both, like Scrum and me, both felt a bit like awkward almost about this, like to make this deal. But I think it makes sense. I know what you think.
So just to clarify, you're purchasing a player above the listed price because you're going to get in return, on addition to that player, 2 players on loan for 0% contracts.
Yes. So technically I'm getting 3 players for this season I'm playing.
Yeah.
I get 3 players for 0%. That's the way I see it, right? I get 3 players for 0% that I really need to complete my team.
Yeah.
And the 400 would have been useless.
Yeah. Do you think so? My immediate thoughts on that is, how have you come to have you just got an extra 400 because that's what you would have had left, or have you calculated that 400? Because 400 for 0% seems quite a lot.
Yes. Well, let's say it in this way. Like, I wanted to buy this guy anyway, the 600, right? The CDM. I need another backup CDM.
Yeah.
I could buy that one. I could also buy from Profound Soda. I had another 9, like even a 90 listed, but that was for 650. So then I even have less left, like 350, which is not gonna help me get a starter or like a good decent backup.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems kind of ridiculous if it was my own money, right?
Yeah.
If it was my own money, but now it's my transfer budget of my club, and I can use it to pay for 2 loans.
Yeah.
But it's gonna help me get 2 guys, keep my ref share a bit down, which I can use for more quality players. And also I want to keep a little bit for myself, right? I want to have a little bit ref share still left. Also because I think it's normal for a club to be sustainable and and not spend 100%. Yeah, like it makes no sense. Like if you want to run a diamond club, you need to turn some profit.
When you say sustainable, are you referring to IRL or are you referring to MFL in that position?
No, both. Like you want to have kind of a financial.
I think at MFL, 100%. I think I'll challenge you on that. Very few clubs are sustainable in real life.
Of course. But you want to be.
You want to be.
Right?
You want to be close as you can. But in MFL, yes, you want to be sustainable.
You want to keep some rev share to then get new players in the shop from, right? That's like kind of how the game works. And I would like to keep some rev share, and I'm like approaching 70% already. So,
73.5 to be exact, Euron.
Yeah, there you go. So I want to keep a little bit for myself. It's also like a little reward for managing this, and then it's also another incentive for me to really get the diamond title, because it would mean more rev share. Yeah. Let's say it from this point of view. If I would have filled the squad of commons and didn't give a damn, I would have netted 150k if I was 12th place. Right now, I need to finish top 4 to make the same amount, right? So I kind of raised the bar high already for myself to, if I want to make the same amount, I need to at least get into top 4, top 3.
Yeah.
And I also want to reward my shareholders. That's how I see it, kind of, to keep guys who gave me my shareholders, that they also profit from supporting me and getting this deal. So, yeah, that's like the deal with Scrub has not gone through yet. I explained this to MFL, to Matt and Lucas, so they still need to pull the trigger, but this is the only deal I want, and then my squad is complete, so that's what we're gonna do. But it might raise some eyebrows.
so that's 3 more players incoming into your squad.
Well, I already Scrub has been very nice and already loaned out one of them for 0%. This Schwartz, this right back, so that I can start testing, because he's a starter. Yeah, so he would be a starter.
So you've got so I'm just looking at your squad right now. You've got 15 out of 25.
Yeah,
you've got 2 more coming in, and then that will take it to 17. Are you wanting to try and get some extra on top of that?
There should also be 1 more CB from 408 sauce coming.
Oh, okay. So that'll take you to 18. And 18, 90, sort of that number you said on last week on the pod that you're happy with.
Yeah. All my teams have 18, pretty much.
Yeah.
With full rotation. So 18 should be enough. I'm going to play full rotation. Have two main tactics I can pivot between. And yeah, I need to test it out. I think 1 for the stronger opposition, from 1 for weaker opposition.
Yeah.
And then I keep kind of moving around a little bit. Keep the opposition on their toes also, that they don't play the same thing the whole time, but have multiple game plans and formations. So yeah, with the Scrub deal and a 408 sauce, then it would be 18 players and done, and then the puzzle is solved pretty much, and I'm ready for
You're ready
Wednesday.
To go. I think, and I'm sure many of our listeners, Beauty, will also feel that in such a short amount of time, from appointment to where we are now on a Sunday evening, to construct a squad that you've currently got, which looks very, very competitive, I must say, is very commendable and respectable. So I congratulate you and respect on that. You've done a lot of great work there. I think many people before this Diamond license had already been appointed, or how the method of it going to someone had been released, thought, you know what, it's gonna be tough for that club to stay in the league. I think almost some people have written it off. I even in myself will say that I openly said on this podcast that it will be tough for someone to build this squad, but with someone who's got the contacts and the will to create a squad such as yourself, and you openly said earlier that through things such as the podcast, from talking to people, it has helped you tremendously. And there is that saying in the world, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, and you've created this squad in such a short amount of time. I don't know if you know what your best 11 overall is, or your best 11 average, or your average of the best 16? Do you know any of those stats? Because I've got them right here. I've got them right here.
965. I think I checked.
Yeah. So I'm not. This is using Baptiste's MFLmanager.fr, which if you type in, you go to his data center and you type in the number of your club, you can see some of these stats. So you can sort of see the average of the best 16, for example, which is obviously a very useful number to know because that has the influence on your training progression. The average of your best 16 is 88 and the best 11 average is 89. It says your best 11 is 981, but that might be regardless of if it's like a viable that's just best 11. That's your top 11.
Yeah, also this Heredia, I'm going to play him as left mid and that takes 6 points off him.
Yeah.
While he is very good in his position, it's only the shooting. So his shooting is bad, like 34. But he just gets -1 on all his other stats, and that means he's really good left mid. So I think that's why it's a little bit skewed there. But yeah, still, I think I should like, in FM when the board asks like, what is your
expectations for the season? Yep.
Yeah, you could like select avoid relegation or mid-table or top of the. So initially it was really avoid relegation. Now I think it could be mid-table, but everyone is competitive, and as I said, like Basel is getting new guys.
Yeah,
everyone got a wake-up call also from this. So
I think now that the clock starts ticking, the gameplay and the leagues become extremely competitive because there is increased rewards on the line. There are relegation spots on the line. It all becomes it becomes more serious now as a manager. As you see when you're a gamer, you start leaning forward and actually, playing the game properly now. You're not just going to play it for fun. You're actually going to play the game properly and be serious. And I think you've got a very competitive side. And I will say that on behalf of the podcast, each week, I will be asking you a couple of questions in the little diamond update about, I'll be the reporter in Football Manager when, a couple of bad results happen in there. What you're going to do to turn the results around, how you're going to motivate the squad, that sort of thing. I'll be a little Football Manager reporter asking you a few questions. But I think
will be really fun, right? The diamond updates.
I think that's the main thing. You look like from you talking about it, you're very passionate. You're very excited about it, and that's what we want. Are you happy with what you've built? Are you happy with what you built on a scale of 1 to 5?
4.5.
4.5. Okay, strong.
I always say it about everything I do. Like, could be better. Could be a little bit better. Like, it's always like some room of improvement.
Nothing's ever perfect. There's always a little bit of room for improvement.
I can tell everyone I really went pretty ham with all messages and the planning and Excel sheets and trying to get the maximum out of rev share and budget and using my connections, calling in some favors pretty much. Also, I said this to Dane in a DM I had with him that I think 2 nights in a row I had this, this Tetris effect, right? That you're like you're lying in bed, you try to fall asleep and you still have these diamond deals and my whole roster flashing through my, flashing through my head. So
yeah.
And I think, now we have a pretty competitive side that should do a pretty good job. And with that the scrub piece, let's say if that's finalized, then I'm very happy with what I managed to get together in that short amount of time. With that, also that tiny delay, which I thought in the beginning would hurt me. In the end, turned out okay, but pretty happy with that. Yeah.
So before we move on to the hashtag, I want to ask you one question, Calva. This time next week, you will have played your first couple of games. The leagues would have started. The transfer window, I think, would have ended by the time we record this episode next week. Who do you want to play on your first match in Diamond? And who do you... Hang on, let me just ask. I might have to know which way I've done that. On the first match day, who do you want to play and who do you not want to play? Are there any teams that you're scared of? Any teams that you think, you know what, we need a good start here? Because a good start's always really helpful in momentum building.
I did some testing against Scrub and first game went terrible, like 5-0 first half, but then...
Oh dear, that's not terrible. That's downright... That's
atrocious.
That's atrocious.
I did change some things around, and he also started testing against me, and then there was one like 2-2 where it was 2-0 up, so there is chances now, but he has like a crazy side with those two, Maciejewski and Thijs on the wings. Like, I'm very afraid of those
they're
two guys.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Maciejewski also hammered in a free kick from like ridiculous distance. So I don't want to play Pichon Milano. I think Basel, because Basel now I beat 3 times in a row. Like, there's a serious chance I could get first 3 points there. That would be a good start. So maybe Basel, I'll say.
Okay. Not against Pichon Milano.
No.
And not, but you'd like to play Basel.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Referee, the fourth official, just put up the old the minimum stoppage time, and we've got at least 2 minutes, so we've got to do this hashtag now to prove you've been listening this far in episode. We'd like to give a hashtag out that you can post on the socials, post in the Discord, let everyone know you've been listening, and let other people know what they've been missing out on by not listening to this episode. So, in honour and respect of Calva's deal diaries and his diamond diaries he's been talking us about, hashtag diamond deals. Hashtag diamond deals. Post on the social Discord, let everyone know you've been listening. Obviously, if you're not aware, we've also started posting full podcast episodes on video in YouTube. So we actually have to look slightly presentable now, and not do all of our recordings in dressing gowns and, in mankinis. We actually have to wear clothes now. Calva doesn't have to style his hair because it just naturally is perfect. I actually have to prepare my hair for the podcast. But if you've not been watching those, or, you can go ahead and go to the YouTube at the When Dirt Cast, I believe it is. It'll be in our link tree, which is all over our socials. So go check it out if you want to also watch us talk rather than just listen to it. But before we head off, hashtag diamond deals. Good luck to all of you in the rest of building your squads, and good luck for the start of the season 1. How good does that get to feel? This is the last podcast before season one yeah. Gameplay, the leagues starts. Calva, are you excited? Are you ready?
I'm ready, yes. Definitely.
Yes, I'm ready as well. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so very much for listening, and we'll see you this time next week for an episode of the When Dirt Cast. Thank you for listening.